Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something pretty much everyone has gone through. Sitting in that barber's chair, trying your best to explain the haircut you want, and just hoping it works out. So how do you nail it every single time? Let's get into it. You know that feeling, right? That little bit of anxiety? You're trying to explain it, you're using your hands, you're saying, short on the sides, but like longer on top, and you still walk out with something that just wasn't what you pictured. It's a classic problem. And see, this isn't just about cutting hair. It's about an interaction between two people with two different perspectives. You've got the Berbers, who are the experts, and then you have the clients, who need to know what to actually ask for. The whole game is about getting them on the same page. So, what's the root cause here? Well, it's not usually about bad barbers or clients being too picky. The sources we looked at point to something they call a knowledge gap. It really just means the barber and the client are speaking two different languages when it comes to hair. Okay, so how do we fix this? The answer is actually a really powerful shift in how we think about the whole experience. It's all about moving from a simple service transaction to a real collaborative partnership with your barber. And the core idea here is something called two-way empowerment. It's pretty cool, actually. It's all about empowering both people in the chair. The barber acts as an expert guide, and the client gets the tools, the right words, to say exactly what they want. And that bridge that closes the gap, it's education. It's as simple as that. When barbers take a second to teach their clients the lingo, they make sure the client actually knows what they're asking for. And you know what that leads to? Way, way higher satisfaction. So let's break down what this actually looks like in practice. Because when this partnership works, it becomes this amazing win-win for absolutely everyone involved. The roles just become so much clearer. Barbers get to be the educators, sharing their knowledge, and what do they get? Happier clients who keep coming back. And the clients, they become active partners in their own haircut, which means they get what they want every time and feel way more confident about the whole thing. It's a perfect cycle. All right, time to get practical. If we're going to build this partnership, we need to speak the same language. So let's learn a few of the most important words from the Barber's Dictionary so you know exactly what to say next time you're in the chair. Let's start with the two big ones that always get mixed up: fade versus taper. A fade is where the hair gets shorter and shorter until it literally disappears, blending right into the skin. It gives you that sharp, really modern look. A taper, on the other hand, also gets gradually shorter, but it always leaves a little bit of length at the very bottom. It's a much softer, more classic vibe. And if you do want a fade, where it starts, the height, changes everything. A low fade begins right above the ear, so it's pretty subtle and clean. A mid fade, which is probably the most popular one, starts about halfway up your head. It's super versatile. And then you have the high fade, which goes way up by the temples and gives you this really bold, high-contrast statement look. So what about on top? Well, asking for texture means you want some layers and movement in there, so it's not just one flat shape. Thinning is for people with really thick hair. It helps take out some of the weight so it sits better. And a trim, well, a trim is just that. A simple cleanup, no big style change. Now, here is a fantastic, game-changing tip. Instead of saying something abstract like, take an inch off, just show them with your fingers. Seriously, your idea of an inch and your barber's idea could be totally different. This one little move gets rid of any confusion. So you can see, this whole idea is way bigger than just one good haircut. Let's zoom out for a second and look at how this communication strategy actually helps build something much more valuable, a really loyal community. The sources have this great term for it: real barber game. It's basically the authentic insider knowledge that the pros have, and when a barber shares some of that with you, they're doing more than just giving you a service. They're letting you into their world and building some serious trust. And you can see how the benefits play out. In the short term, yeah, the shop has fewer mistakes, and clients get the haircut they want. But the long game, that's where the magic is. The business builds incredible loyalty, and the clients feel totally confident and empowered. All of a sudden, that little phrase, "follow for more," stops being just a slogan on social media. It actually becomes a real measure of success, a KPI. It means you've turned a one-off customer into someone who trusts you and actively wants your expert advice. And all of this leaves us with one last big question to think about. If this two-way empowerment model can completely transform something like a barbershop, where else could it work? It kind of makes you wonder, is every single interaction we have with a customer in any business a hidden chance to teach, to empower, and to build something that lasts? All right, let's get right into it. In a world with, just endless choices for everything, how does any business stand out? Especially something as traditional as a barbershop, right? It's a massive challenge. But today, we're going to deconstruct a business idea that absolutely nails it. So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you take something as common as getting a haircut and turn it into a real, unforgettable brand? We're about to look at the exact blueprint for how they did it, turning a service into an experience people just can't stop talking about. First things first, it all starts with this quest to be unique. In a market that's totally saturated, how do you become the one business that everyone not only remembers but chooses? The answer really comes down to this one powerful concept: differentiation. In Hebrew, it's called bedul. And look, this isn't just about being different for the sake of being different. No, it's a strategic process. It's about deliberately making your business so unique and so special that in the eyes of your customers, you become the only real choice. So, how did this barbershop actually achieve that? Well, it wasn't just one magic trick. It was a complete strategic blueprint, one that's built on three really powerful interconnected ideas. Let's break them down. Here they are, the three pillars holding this whole thing up: niche specialization, technological innovation, and what we'll call experiential expansion. Let's dig into each one. Okay, pillar number one: niche specialization. Instead of trying to be pretty good at everything for everyone, the strategy here was to become the absolute, undisputed master of one specific thing: the American-style haircut. And the secret sauce? It's perfecting the C-cup finish, a super technical detail that apparently tons of barbers struggle to get right. By mastering that one difficult skill, you instantly set yourself apart as an elite expert. Next up, technology. And folks, this is a total game changer. Just imagine an AI-powered app that lets you see exactly what your new haircut will look like before a single hair is even cut. This isn't just some cool gimmick. It completely changes the customer experience because it removes all the anxiety and all the guesswork. So how does this thing even work? Well, it's actually brilliantly simple. You just upload a photo of yourself, you pick the style you're thinking about, say a low fade, then you select the grade you want, and bam, you get a virtual preview of the final look. All that "I hope this looks good" feeling? Gone. Just like that. And this quote from the source, man, it just perfectly captures the impact. Think about it. The customer isn't just scheduling an appointment anymore. They're already getting excited about a result they can literally see. It builds this emotional connection before they even step foot in the door. It's genius. Now for the third pillar, and this is where the business model just explodes beyond the chair. This place stops being just a barbershop and becomes a full-on clinic and spa for men. You've got services like laser tattoo removal, hair removal, facials. You can even book a whole fun-day experience. It becomes a true destination for men's grooming and wellness. And what you're looking at here, this is what the source material calls the Alpha Map. It's basically the visual master plan. You can see how it lays out the entire customer journey and maps out every service and experience. It proves that this isn't just a random collection of cool ideas. No, it's a highly structured, deliberately planned system from start to finish. Okay, so we have all the strategic pieces on the board. We've got the niche, the tech, the spa services, but a great strategy is only as good as the story it tells. So now, let's see how all of this comes together to create a brand that actually feels like magic. And the name, well, it says it all, doesn't it? Black Magic Barbershop. It's bold, it's memorable, and it makes a crystal clear promise. You're not just coming in for a haircut, you're coming in for a magical transformation. You walk in one way, and you're going to walk out feeling completely renewed. For me, this is where it all just clicks into place. This is where the brand's promise is connected directly to the business's proof. That promise of a magical transformation, it's not just marketing fluff. It's proven by that flawless C-cup finish and the incredible AI preview. The promise of professionalism, it's backed up by that deep expertise in the American style. Every single feature we've talked about is real, tangible proof that backs up the brand's story. But this leads to the final, and maybe the most crucial question. A brilliant idea is one thing, but how do you make sure it can actually grow? A business built around one single magician can't scale. You have to build a machine. And the key is making that critical shift from being person-dependent to being system-dependent. You see, a business that relies on just one person's incredible talent has a hard ceiling on its growth. But a business built on a proven, repeatable system, That's how you replicate the magic over and over again. So how do you actually build that system? Well, here's the toolkit. You create standardized guides so every haircut is consistent. You have a 4-week trial period to make sure every new hire is up to that high standard. You use NDAs to protect your unique methods. And you create super clear roles for marketing versus service. This is how you turn a personal talent into a scalable business that can actually grow. And that really brings us full circle. This whole breakdown isn't just about haircuts. It's a fantastic blueprint for how to stand out in any field. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. By combining that deep expertise, some innovative technology, and a really powerful brand story, what magic is just waiting to be unlocked in your business idea? Okay, so let's talk about something real. How does any business, say a local barbershop, even begin to compete when it feels like everyone and their brother is also a barber? Seriously, that's the challenge we're diving into today. Because let's be honest, in a market this crowded, just being good at your job, it's not nearly enough. So how do you actually break through all that noise? We're going to lay out the exact blueprint. Just let that sink in for a second. Everyone in this city is a barber. This isn't some made-up line. It's a real quote from a real business owner during a consultation, and wow, does it hit home. It's the tough reality for so many of us, right? Your basic skill, whether it's cutting hair, coding an app, or making an amazing cup of coffee, that's just the ticket to get in the door. It's the bare minimum. It doesn't make you special. So, that leads us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? How do you stand out? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. We are taking a real-life business consultation with someone who was struggling and turning it into an actionable blueprint that pretty much any brand, yeah, including yours, can use to get noticed. Okay, first things first. Before we get to the solution, we have to talk about the problem. We've got to understand what just flat out doesn't work anymore. The reason so many businesses are spinning their wheels is because they're using a marketing playbook from like a decade ago. It's totally out of date. Let me show you a perfect example of this, a marketing video that was, well, a total miss. And here's where it gets really interesting, right? You've got this massive disconnect. A style that 20 years ago was the epitome of cool. Think those classic 50 Cent music videos. Was confident, it was slick. But today, to a younger audience, it just feels, well, the word they used was childish. It feels out of touch. The very thing that used to be a brand's asset has now become a total liability. So let's be super clear here. The problem isn't a lack of effort. The person was trying. The problem is a lack of connection. There's this huge gap between the message the business is sending and the culture the audience is living in. And you can't fix that by just shouting louder. You have to build a bridge. So let's talk about how to actually build it. All right, pillar number 1, this is huge. It's all about finding your niche. You have to stop being a generalist and become a specialist. I mean, think about it. In a world where everybody can do the basics, the only real way to win is to stop trying to please everyone and instead become the undisputed best at one specific thing. And this is the question you have to ask yourself right now. What's your special? It's not about listing all the things you can do. No. It's about identifying the one thing you do better than anybody else in your area. Sure, a dozen people can cut hair, but what is your unique, undeniable area of mastery? What's your special? And this table just lays it out so perfectly. Choosing a niche isn't about limiting your business. It's the exact opposite. It's how you build your brand. Like, if you decide to specialize in precision fades, you're not just a barber anymore. You're signaling mastery of the most in-demand skill out there. That builds instant trust. Or maybe you focus on hair designs. All of a sudden, you're not just providing a service, you're an artist. It's a huge branding move, and it's what pulls in the exact customers you want. Okay, so you've got your niche. Awesome. But that's only half the battle. Let's get to pillar 2, because having a special skill is totally useless if you can't talk about it in a way people understand. This is all about connecting with the culture, not just the customer. You've got to speak their language. Just look at this. It's so simple, but so powerful. The way customers talk has changed. They're not walking in and saying, "Give me a number 4 on the side." That's old school talk. Today, they're saying, "I want a low fade." If you're still stuck on the old terminology, you're basically putting up a giant sign that says, "I'm out of touch." And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? When you know the language, it proves you get their world.
It shows you're part of the culture, not just some outsider trying to sell them something. I love this quote from the source. If you know this language, you're on the wave. Being on the wave builds a kind of trust that no amount of fancy marketing slogans could ever buy.
All right, get ready for the third and, honestly, the most powerful pillar of them all. This one is a total mindset shift. This is where you graduate from just being a service provider and you start acting like a real brand builder. We're talking about selling the vision.
Now, this is going to sound a little backward at first, but stick with me because it's the absolute key to modern branding. Here it is. Don't market what you have right now. Market what you're building. Your Instagram, your TikTok, it's not supposed to be a documentary of your shop today. Think of it as the movie trailer for the brand you're becoming. People are drawn to aspiration. They're drawn to a compelling vision of the future.
So you're probably thinking, okay, how do I actually do that? Well, you start by creating a digital world that's even more impressive than your physical space. You can start teasing future services you're planning to offer, even if they're months or a year away. We're talking about hinting at a tattoo stand or laser hair removal. Now, the point here isn't to lie or mislead anyone. It's about painting a bigger vision. It builds hype, and this is the magic part, it attracts a totally different kind of customer.
And this leads to this really cool concept called business potential. Just imagine this for a second. Someone sees your awesome aspirational video online. They walk into your barbershop and ask, hey, I saw you guys are getting into laser hair removal. When is that starting? Now, even if you say, oh, that's still a few months out, guess what? They are in your shop. That's a person, a lead who never would have walked through your door otherwise. And now you have the chance to turn them into a customer for the services you do offer today.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Don't deal with what exists. Deal with what you're going to build. It's a conscious, strategic choice. You're deciding to focus your energy on marketing the vision of tomorrow, not just documenting the reality of today. And that is how you create some serious, unstoppable momentum.
So there you have it. We took this big, complicated problem and broke it down into a really simple but really powerful framework. Let's just quickly recap the whole blueprint. So your blueprint to stand out really comes down to these three pillars. Number 1, specialize. Become the go-to expert in one thing. Number 2, communicate. You have to speak your audience's language to build that authentic connection. And number 3, envision. Market the future you're building to get people excited and invested in your brand today.
Look, this isn't just some interesting theory. This is a call to action. It's a game plan that's just sitting here, waiting for you to use it. So really, the only question left is the one you have to ask yourself. What vision are you going to start building for your brand, starting tomorrow? All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about how to turn one of the most, let's be honest, stressful parts of life, getting a haircut, into a total masterclass on clear communication. This is all about closing that gap between the amazing haircut you're picturing in your head and the one you actually get.
You know the feeling. We've all been there. You slide into the chair, they snap on the cape, and suddenly the anxiety hits. You try your best to explain what you want. You use words like a little off the top or just clean it up, and you're just praying that the person holding the clippers can somehow read your mind.
And that's exactly what it is, isn't it? It's a gamble. You're literally betting your appearance for the next month on a conversation that took all of 30 seconds. And when you hear that buzzing sound start up, you just kind of close your eyes and think, hey, it'll grow back, right? Now, what's so interesting is that the sources we looked at actually give this universal feeling a name. They call it the central failure point. It's that huge gap, that disconnect between your vision and what they understood. And get this, according to them, this single point is where almost every bad haircut is born. So, how do we fix it? Well, the idea here is to completely flip the script. It's not about just finding better words. It's about changing the entire relationship from a simple transaction to a real partnership. And they call this the mutual empowerment model. The key to this whole thing is that mutual empowerment isn't just on the barber, and it isn't just on you. It's a two-way street. It's a strategy where you both level up. Both of you take on some of the responsibility. You learn how to ask for what you want with precision, and the barber learns how to be a real consultant, so you're building the final look together. And you can really see the difference here. The old way, the barber is just a technician. You give an order, they do the work. You're just sitting there passively hoping for the best. But in this new way, The barber becomes your consultant, your coach. And you become an active partner. The goal isn't just getting a service, it's a shared creation. Okay, so this isn't just some nice, fluffy idea. The sources actually lay out a concrete, three-step protocol, like a standard operating procedure, that turns this philosophy into reality every single time you're in the chair. It's a game plan to completely wipe out that central failure point. So here's how it works. Step 1 is diagnose. Before anything, the barber's job is to figure out what you actually know. Are you speaking the language? Step 2 is educate and align. Now that they know where you're at, they use their expertise, maybe some photos, to show you the options and get you both on the same page. And then, the most important part, step 3, confirm the vision. Before a single hair is cut, they get a clear, verbal yes from you. No more guesswork, no more assumptions.
Of course, for this whole protocol to work, you both have to be speaking the same language. And this is where you, the client, can really step up and become a true partner. You do that by learning what the sources call real barber game.
Real barber game. It's basically the insider language, the secret handshake of the barbering world. It's the slang, the tips, the techniques that let you go from a vague request to a super precise instruction. Learning just a little bit of it is your ticket into this new partnership. Okay, listen up, because this might be the most important thing you learn today. The difference between a fade and a taper. A fade goes all the way down. It disappears completely into the skin. As the pros say, it goes to zero. It's that sharp, bold, high contrast look. A taper, on the other hand, is softer. It gets short, but it always leaves a little bit of visible hair at the bottom. It never reaches zero. It's more classic. Just knowing this one thing can save you from so much frustration. And we can get even more specific. If you do want a fade, you can tell them where to start it. A low fade is subtle, it starts right above your ear. A mid fade is that perfect, versatile balance. But a high fade, that's the dramatic one that starts all the way up near your temple. See? Suddenly you have a whole menu of precise options. Okay, how many times have you said something like, I want it to look kind of messy, but, neat? We all have, but that doesn't really mean anything. The word you're looking for, the magic word, is texture. When you ask for texture, you're telling the barber you want them to cut in a way that creates movement and layers. It turns a vague feeling into a real technical action. And here it is, maybe the simplest and most powerful tip in this whole explainer. Forget about inches or centimeters. Your idea of a centimeter might be totally different from your barber's. The best tool you have is your own hand. Just show them with your fingers how much you want off. It's a universal language. There's no way to misinterpret that. So we've basically solved the bad haircut problem. But here's the thing that makes this model so powerful. It's not really about hair at all. It's actually a blueprint for clear communication in pretty much any situation where there's an expert and a non-expert trying to get on the same page. I mean, think about it. A doctor trying to explain a complex diagnosis, a mechanic trying to tell you what's wrong with your car, a financial advisor laying out a strategy. All of these situations have the exact same potential for a central failure point, that massive gap in knowledge and language between the expert and the person they're trying to help. So really, the big takeaway here is that this mutual empowerment model is a universal template. These core principles, diagnosing the knowledge gap, educating to create a shared language, and then confirming the shared vision, can transform any potentially frustrating service transaction into a really successful and empowering collaboration. And this all leaves us with one last really fascinating question that the sources bring up. What happens when the communication is perfect, but your tastes are just different? When the barber and the client totally understand each other, but they just disagree on what actually looks good. In that moment of perfect clarity but total disagreement, who gets to make the final call? The expert with the trained eye, or the client who has to walk around with it every day? It's definitely something to think about.